What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thanks again for tuning in, and this has been a long time requested video. Just never got around to it, but I'm just gonna get into it now, and it is why did I leave Olympus and get into essentially what I'm doing now, especially after you guys saw the amount of money that I was making at Olympus was like night and day compared to what I made at Stryker. So why did I leave? And I'm going to answer those questions in this video. Hopefully it won't take too long, but let's jump into it. A little bit about Olympus. I worked in the ENT division, ear, nose, and throat. I covered cases, did surgical navigation as well. So there was some base of skull procedures and things like that that ENTs get into, and they would use our navigation equipment. So that was pretty cool. We had sinus shavers, what's it called? Ablation therapies. We had, obviously the ear tubes and different things like that. And we had some, what I would say is their top product, which is going to be their scopes. The thing about their scopes, though, is you have I believe it was the GI team. They were the ones that were essentially selling like the entire systems, all like the big capital money, all of that stuff was coming from a different division. So like we were basically just doing an add-on when it came to a scope. And when we were to sell like the entire unit piece, like the base that the scope plugs into, the scope, the tower that holds all of the equipment. Sometimes you would be able to sell the screens too. Some offices would just use your regular like LG or Samsung TV, just plug all the AV stuff into that, but you're not going to get the best image that you would if it was like a medical grade monitor. And so you'd sell all of those things. And so that was fun. Like I got to learn a lot about a bunch of different products. I was already selling capital at Stryker, but this allowed me to sell more capital and larger things, and really kind of that's how you were increasing your income. Like these big ticket items would be like, let's say 100K sell, and you got paid out, honestly, I don't remember. I don't know, like 6% off of what it was, or maybe a little bit more. Maybe it was like 10%, and if you hit your buckets, it was 12%. I can't remember, but it was good money. So as long as you were making sales, you were loving life, and there was also disposable products, and that was like your revolving door, right? So like you're getting your customers to switch from one of the competitors' products to use your product, and then you're upselling by selling the capital pieces, and that's what drives your revenue, especially in my territory. Like I didn't have a lot of disposable volume. It was more of trying to upsell some of those other scopes and different things like that. But why did I leave? Initially, I was already kind of not psyched by the salary. So in this role, the salary I believe was $39,999. I don't even think it was 40. I'm pretty sure it was like just under 40. And you made most of your money off of the sales that you were making and getting your commissions. And I made, I think in the like 15 months or less that I was there, 14 months, somewhere between like $150,000 and $160,000. So I was making some awesome money. I mean, I pretty much almost doubled exactly what I was making at Stryker the year prior. Even the whole amount of time at Stryker, the same amount of months to the same amount of months, like almost doubled my income. So night and day, like not a mistake to go there. I did it for my family, and again, like it's really what kind of broke me to that next threshold of the amount of money that I was making. Pay cut from Cintas to Stryker, then bam, bigger than what I was making at Cintas. So it was awesome. The training, so that you guys are aware, it was a 2-week program. I don't remember where. I'm pretty sure it was in New Jersey, and 2 weeks. Man, that's a long time. You're staying in a hotel, you're doing classes from like 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Then you have just enough time to wind down and maybe go grab like some drinks and dinner with the other classmates that you have that are there, and rinse and repeat. I remember that weekend, instead of traveling back home, I don't even think you were allowed to. I'm pretty sure there was like only 1 or 2 people that were allowed to. And when I asked, because I had a baby at home and I wanted to like at least go home and help out and stuff, like they straight up told me no, but they did let the moms go. So, you know, sexism, I don't know. But again, all of this stuff, my opinion. Olympus, don't get mad at me, this is all my opinion. But regardless, I think I went to the city because my sister was still in law school at the time, so at least, you know, just a quick train ride into the city, not bad. But yeah, the training was 2 weeks long. That was wild. It sucked. And I had literally the worst luck when it came to flights during that company. Literally almost every single time I flew, no matter where I was going, my flights were always like delayed or canceled, and I would have been back home typically on a normal day, like around, you know, like let's say 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon from getting to like return back on the flight, and it was always like midnight or something. I'd just be sitting at the airport, just, you know, fucking twiddling my thumbs, hating life. Like I felt like all the positives that I got from the income, there's just so many negatives, and to add on to the negatives, like the management there was straight trash. Like again, my opinion, but that's how it was. I am not the only person to think that. I've talked to multiple people that have left that company, and specifically that division as well, and the management within my area of where I live, and all of them, same thing, like the manager was trash, upper management was trash, and the product wasn't even that great. Again, I say like their best product was the scopes. I think hands down when it comes to the competitors that I saw, and like when I would go to expos and get to play with everybody's scopes and stuff, like hands down, I do believe that this product, when it comes to the scope, amazing. Like just the technology behind it's unreal. But then everything else was literally a Me Too, and our Me Too was not much better. If not, it was always worse than what our competitor was. So when I say Me Too, it means your competitors have a similar to like product, and that's what's not fun about getting into certain sales roles. Is if you get into a company that's just competing against somebody else and everything that you talk about is Me Too. Oh, well, my company has this. Yeah, me too. I have that as well. Like it sucks, and especially sucks when your product isn't better. I remember literally the first case that I go to. I haven't gone to training, haven't done anything yet, but like I got to go cover cases, right? I just got hired on, and there's cases, and I need to go make myself present there and create a relationship with the surgeon. And I walk in. Introductions go great. Everybody's happy. I'm Colombiano. His wife happens to be Colombiano. So we're all having like this great conversation, and he's getting to know me. And funny story about that physician, I introduced him to my family members that were in Colombia. And when he traveled there during the Carnavales, oh man, they showed him a great time. They were like, oh dude, that dude is awesome. He's welcome here anytime. And it kind of sucks. Like I haven't talked to him literally since I left that job, but I digress. Let me get back to day one of surgery. It's my first time meeting this guy. It's my first time like covering my product. I was watching videos and reviewing stuff, and I get in there, and it's a tonsil case, so a tonsillectomy, and our shaver, the little blade at the end, it's going like, if this is like an open mouth, it goes like that, and so like that's how it works, but it oscillates like really quickly, and so you're really just like eating away at, you know, the tonsils and the skin and everything, and getting it all out of there, the tissue, and the blade just immediately breaks. Like as he gets started, boom, broken. And I'm just like, okay, hold on, I got another one, no worries. Bam, we open up another one, and I'm like, since that happened, let's go ahead, and I'm going to, you know, submit it in as what's going on here, because I wanted to like make a good impression with them. I didn't want to charge them for something that was trash and just broke. Like literally I was watching him. He didn't do anything. He literally just clicked the button to get the blade to go, started taking out the tissue, and bam, blade breaks. We pull out the next one. He's going, and the ablation portion of that blade, which is going to like burn the tissue, isn't working. So now that blade's not working either. So we're like, all right, bam, chunk that one. Let's throw in another one. We literally went through 4 blades, and that was all that we had at the hospital, and every single one of them failed. So it's my first case. I'm sitting there like, I am so sorry. You can't see my face, right? So my eyes are just fucking huge. And I'm just like, dude, I am so sorry. Like, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I still don't have trunk product. I don't have anything else to bring in. And he was like, well, the least that you could do is go grab the Medtronic tray out from the back and wheel it in so that we can continue on. And I was like, 100%, off I go. So off I go to literally go grab my competitor's product and bring it in. And people are probably, that are in this industry, are probably like, dude, that happens, like shit happens, like get over it. No, this shit happened all the time. Like this shaver broke down all the time. I am convinced like that it was trash. It's bad when, if anybody that was within my family or friends and they needed to go to an ENT and go get surgery, it's bad that I would tell them to request that they're using the Medtronic product compared to my product. Like when that was happening so consistently, it was so hard for me to even like want to back up my own product when my product was trash and just not working. And customer service had nothing to tell us. The corporate had nothing to say. They pulled a bunch of those boxes, malfunctioning blades, this and that, and then never gave us any for the greater part of a year. So I don't know. Maybe I just got in at the wrong time, but like the best way to explain it, and how other people have told me too, this was like a straight dumpster fire that somebody was adding fuel to, and that was what the division was. Then to add to like my already not good taste in my mouth of what's going on, my manager is just straight awful. Hopefully he sees this. Like I honestly don't care at this point. I've had to stop writing a text message so many times, like just because I'm going to be the bigger person and just like not care. But it's wild that from the beginning, like, and this is why in the last video, or like at some point I was talking about how my focus now that I'm looking for a new job is 100% to make sure that the culture and the team and the management is all on point, because I am not going to fall into this trap again. I don't care how much money I'm getting paid and not falling into this trap. And I swear, like, the guy was either like racist or like discriminating against me in some way or manner. Like, I would do the same thing that other reps were doing on his same team, and I would be the only one that gets singled out for this like issue. And then another thing is I go to training. They walk us through the handbook and everything. And I'll give you a perfect example of like this dude just creating his own rules. We are able to expense a meal once we have traveled 70 miles or 75 miles away from our home, something like that. And my territory was large enough. I would go and travel that far, but typically what I would do is I would go cover cases way out wherever I was going. And it's the morning, I've already ate breakfast and everything. And then on my travel back in, so I've already traveled over 75 miles. Like sometimes I've traveled like 100 miles heading out. And then on my travel back in, as I'm getting closer to Austin and the city and I'm calling on the doctors in that area, then it finally gets to lunchtime or like a late lunch. And then that's when I expense a meal. And when we get into the expense reports and I submit all my stuff, he calls me out and he's like, why are you expensing meals in like in areas in Austin? You're supposed to be 75 miles away from your home. I'm like, first off, I was like 97 miles like this one time away. And you can see here, I covered this case, this, and like, here's all the proof of me not even being home and being in that area. Like, here's the PO that I got for that day, all this stuff, like all this proof. And he's like, yeah, but why are you buying it in Austin? I'm like, because I wasn't fucking hungry when I was covering cases at 7 o'clock in the morning. I got hungry when it was fucking lunchtime and I was close and like within my area. And at this time, like I'm talking like I'm in like super south Austin. I at this time lived like in north west Austin, like still like another 30 miles away maybe. But it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. His whole stipulation would be where you have to be 75 miles away. I literally pulled out the handbook on my tablet, took a screenshot of what the handbook says, and it says just needs to be minimum round trip of 75 miles one way away from the home to expense a meal that day. It doesn't say you still have to be 75 miles away. It can't be in the area of where you live, anything like that. It just states that for you to expense a meal, you had to be a certain distance away for that day working. And so he like wanted to write me up, submitted my stuff to HR, and I literally responded back to HR with verbatim what it was. And I told him, I straight up said, hey, I don't know what policy you're talking about, but here's the policy. So then again, like, I don't know, a month or two later, same situation happens again. I'm covering cases, I expense a meal. And because I am doing within compliance of what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm not gonna just listen to somebody that obviously doesn't understand the policy, like whatever. So again, this time he writes me up, calls in the VP at the time, and it's like, this guy is not listening to my direction. And again, I responded to everybody and I said, is it policy for me to have to be a certain distance, or is it just the policy for me to have driven that amount? And pulled up the policy again, showed it to everybody, and it was so funny because the VP actually said, yeah, he's not in violation of policy, but if your manager is requesting that you don't do that, then you shouldn't do that. And so I said, okay, so just to make sure, I am not violating any policy. You are just stipulating some random rule that doesn't exist within the handbook. And of course, that doesn't go down well with either one of them, because who knows, like they just didn't like to be told that they were wrong, but they were completely wrong. Again, HR got involved and was like, this guy's not doing anything wrong. Like, quit bitching about where he's expensing meals. Like, in our policy, it doesn't state that he has to be somewhere. So whatever, like, so it would be shit like that. Another time, oh man, it was just bad. So like, the management was awful. I'll give you one more example of what happened. He comes in to ride with me, and I sent him what the itinerary is, what we're going to do, where we're going to meet up, everything like that. And that night I got a message from the scrub tech, hey, this case got canceled, just wanted to give you a heads up. So I was like, all right, cool, no worries. So then I sent him a text, and of course the guy's got red receipts on, and I sent him a text and I'm like, hey, case one got canceled. Let's meet up at this other location that we're going to go to next. I just messaged the person there. They're willing to meet us earlier, so let's go do that. And I saw that he read it perfectly fine, right? Apparently not. He shows up to the wrong place, still goes to where the itinerary said it, has the audacity to like call me while I'm in a meeting, because he didn't make it to the meeting, leave me some stupid ass voicemail, and then send an email. Again, this guy loves his little passive aggressive emails, talking about I don't know, like just like my business acumen or something, et cetera, and again trying to justify why I should be written up. And I had to respond again to HR, man. HR, like, I apologize for all the times that you had to deal with these things, but this guy's such a loser. I sent them the screenshot of the text message that I sent literally the night before, where he had read and understood, because you read the message, understood that things changed and I requested that you meet me somewhere else. So again, nothing happened from there, but it was like the guy was constantly just trying to figure out a way to like get me fired. He put me on a performance improvement plan, a PIP, didn't even need it. Don't even know how somebody gets on a PIP like within the first like 40 something days that they're within the territory, like telling me that I wasn't doing my job, I wasn't working, all this stuff. And then I have the messages and I saw them saved from, it's been like over 3 years since I've worked at this company, and literally at the beginning of this year, 2022, I get a text from one of the sites that I used to call on asking me if I was still their rep. A few months before that, some other site asking me if I'm still their rep. So it's been 3 years and people still think that I'm their rep because I was doing my fucking job and I was good at it. But this guy, I mean, so that was why I left. The management was awful. I did not love the product. I wasn't happy. It was literally like, I was depressed like when I had to go to work. I'm a passive aggressive person when it comes to like emails too, and so that didn't work out well. Like, I'd have to have my wife look at my messages and stuff, but I feel like I'm just like rambling on at this point. But people have been asking me, and I just didn't want to make this video like, what happened to Olympus? Why aren't you working at Olympus? So I've spoken to like, I don't know, 5 to 10 people like on the phone or via messaging to let them know why I'm not there anymore. Like, hey, maybe your experience will be better. But it was so funny. Whenever I put in my 2 weeks, guy didn't even ask where I was going or anything. He said, okay, cool. Like, he was so happy that I was out, and it just made me laugh because like the VP, first off, like the manager was called the vice president, the regional vice president, which he's just the manager. It's not like he was a vice president of anything, just a bullshit title. And then his manager was called like director vice president. I was just like these are the stupidest, like just name jumps so that whenever you go to the next place you can try to use that as something. But whenever I left, I did my exit interview, showed a bunch of stuff as to how biased he was against me, multiple other instances, all this other stuff, things that he did out of compliance, and somehow that, you know, guy still got promoted. Don't get it. Obviously, this place is a dumpster fire, which is why like I would not go back there. You guys might have a way better opinion and a better time there. Not me, but there you guys go. This was why I left Olympus when I was making the amount of money that I was making. Now I'm obviously like I was at a better place. No longer, if you haven't seen the last video, no longer at my job. So I am displaced until August 15th, but I'm a baller. I will not be on the market long. It's a trade, right? I'm just getting traded right now. So if I could, I have already looked. I'm a chip on your shoulder kind of guy. I've already looked, and I was going to go to the competitor because I don't have a non-compete. And I was going to go to the competitor and just kill it. But territories are already taken, and they've actually like started shrinking territories. So they're in, you know, territory mode where they're trying to grab as much business as possible. So unfortunate that I can't, you know, jump in and go do that, but it is what it is. Enjoy the journey because everybody's going to be on one. But this is why I left, and I hope you guys, you know, learned something from this video. The biggest takeaway that I can give you is just do your homework, talk to reps, and figure out if the culture that you're about to get into is the type of culture that you want to be in, because don't just take it from the people that work for them. Find people that left, hopefully within your area, but have left maybe that division. Because if you find people that have left that division and they start telling you, oh, this is why I left, oh, it's a complete dumpster fire, this, that, management sucks, all this stuff, you're most likely not going to want to go take that job then. Like, as much as you want a new job because you want to get into the industry, like that little bit might just save you the headache of having to find another job like a year later. So do your due diligence, network, talk to everybody that you possibly can. I tell people my story, and, you know, hopefully they hear other stories and they can weigh their options, you know. But until the next video, guys, I highly appreciate that you guys are watching and liking, subscribing, all that awesome stuff. Keep it going, and I'll see you guys on the next video.